They say the battlefields are quiet now, but the hospitals, that's where the screaming never stopped. For every soldier who died on the field at Gettysburg or Antietam, 2 more died of disease or wounds in makeshift hospitals. Churches, barns, and hotels were turned into houses of suffering. Today, we're peeling back the veil on 5 locations that served as hospitals during the war, but never quite closed their doors, including one where the doctors might still be operating today. We start in Staunton, Virginia, at the American Hotel. During the war, this wasn't near the front lines, but the railroad brought the wounded here by the thousands. It became a hub of misery. And when the soldiers didn't survive the journey or the surgery, they were moved to the basement. During the height of the conflict, the death toll was so high that the hotel's basement served as a makeshift morgue. Bodies were stacked like cordwood, waiting for burial. Today, staff and visitors at the hotel report a heaviness in that basement that defies explanation. Heavy footsteps are heard overhead when the floor above is empty. But most chilling, what witnesses refer to as shadow carriers, dark, shadowy figures moving in tandem, as if carrying a phantom stretcher, taking the wounded to a rest that never comes. Next, we go to Gettysburg. You can't walk down Baltimore Street without seeing the Farnsworth House. Those holes in the brick? Those are original bullet holes from 1863. This house was a Confederate stronghold. Sharpshooters occupied the attic, picking off Union soldiers. But below them, in the cellar, dying men were huddled together for safety. Today, it operates as a B&B, but guests often check out early. There is a specific phenomenon reported here known as the tuck-in. Guests report the sensation of someone sitting on the edge of their bed in the middle of the night. The mattress depresses. The air grows cold. Some have even felt a heavy hand on their shoulder. A soldier, perhaps, looking for comfort in his final moments. If you've ever stayed in a historic hotel and felt like you weren't the only one in the room, let us know in the comments. In Gordonsville, Virginia, the Exchange Hotel looks like a piece of Southern charm. But in the 1860s, it was known as the Receiving Hospital. In just 1 year, over 70,000 wounded men passed through these doors. 700 of them are still buried on the grounds. The sheer concentration of pain here has left a mark. The haunting here is auditory. It's known as the breathing walls. Visitors and staff often report the sound of labored, wet breathing in empty rooms. It's the distinct sound of pneumonia and chest wounds, the sound of men fighting for their last breath. Even when the building is silent, the walls seem to remember the struggle. Number 2 isn't a building at all. It's the woods behind where the main camp stood at Gettysburg. This was Camp Letterman. It was a tent city, a general hospital set up to deal with the aftermath of the battle. But when the tents were full, the hopeless cases, the men who weren't going to make it, were moved to the edge of the woods. They were placed there to die in the open air, to spare the others the smell of gangrene. Today, hikers who cross that tree line often report an overwhelming, sudden wave of grief. Locals call it the hospital woods. There are reports of glowing mists that form the triangular shapes of tents, and the scent of peppermint, which nurses use to mask the smell of decay, drifting on the wind when no peppermint grows nearby. And finally, number 1. This might be the most famous Civil War ghost story you've never heard. It takes place here, at Penn Hall. During the battle, this college building was seized and used as a major field hospital. Decades later, late one night, 2 college administrators took the elevator down to the basement. They expected to see the maintenance room, but when the doors opened, the maintenance room was gone. The scene before them was bathed in a strange sepia glow. They saw chaos. Doctors in blood-soaked aprons were rushing back and forth. Piles of limbs sat in the corner. The smell of copper and rot hit them instantly. They weren't looking at a ghost. They were looking at 1863. One of the doctors looked up, right at them, with a look of confusion. The administrators frantically hit the button, and the doors closed. Here's the kicker. When they checked the historical records later, the scene they described matched the hospital layout perfectly, a layout that hadn't existed for over 100 years. They didn't just see a ghost. They stepped back in time. The war officially ended in 1865, but for these locations and the spirits trapped within them, the peace treaty was never signed. If you enjoyed this tour of the paranormal past, check out our full Civil War battlefields playlist.